Audi's formidable R8 supercar also comes in Spyder guise, that's without a roof. You still get all the good stuff, which means a 5.2 litre FSI V10 engine screaming away just behind your head. It's just that with this variant, you'll be able to hear it even more clearly. Plus, the R8 Spyder can be a real driver's tool now, with a rear-driven variant joining the familiar Quattro model. Still want that Ferrari?
As with the Coupe R8, Spyder buyers get a mighty mid-mounted 5.2 litre FSI V10, normally aspirated engine with dual injection system, dynamic throttle response and a distinctive hard-edge soundtrack which can be amplified further by the sports exhaust system fitted to Quattro variants. A rear-driven entry model is also offered. The Quattro variant gets a 620 PS version of this emotive power plant, enough to take you to 62 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds on the way to a top speed of 204. The rear-wheel drive 570 PS version is hardly any slower, 62 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds en route to 203 miles an hour. Either way, older owners' toupes will need to be firmly tied down, or at least they'll need to be if the fabric hood is open. It retracts in just 20 seconds and can be operated at speeds of up to 31 miles an hour. Stopping power is equally ferocious thanks to the ceramic brakes that come with Quattro spec. That all-wheel drive setup is able to flash 100% of power to either axle instantly on demand, and as a result, traction levels are astonishingly high. The car feels agile too, aided by a torque vectoring system, though a slight vagueness in the steering to some extent masks small recent improvements made to the suspension and the steering. Bear in mind that the rear-driven model has no adaptive dampers, the steering has a fixed ratio, and the limited slip differential is of the conventional mechanical type. With either drivetrain behind the V10, there's a 7-speed S-tronic transmission, and the dynamic handling owes much to the engine's low mounting position, which is achieved thanks to dry sump lubrication. The wheels are controlled by lightweight aluminium wishbones, a layout that reveals motorsport DNA. And as for efficiency, well, don't allow this V10 engine cylinder deactivation tech to get your hopes up. Official figures suggest that up to 20.9 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 305 grams per kilometre of CO2 is possible from a V10 rear-wheel drive model. The figures are up to 20.3 mpg and 315 grams per kilometre for the alternative four-wheel drive Quattro version. Visually, the R8 Spyder remains a distinctive cocktail of low-slung curves and delightful design extravagance. Though in this improved version of the second-generation model, the influential shape of the original Type 4S design is expressed in a tauter, more technically precise way. As before, we're talking Ferrari, but with a German twist. This design's elegant, lightweight fabric top with its largely aluminium and magnesium linkage perfectly complements this R8's lightweight design approach. Curb weight's just 1,695 kilos in this Quattro model. Just 44 kilos of that is accounted for by the roof, which opens or closes in just 20 seconds at speeds of up to 31 miles an hour. You'd usually activate the process from inside the car, but you can also do so from outside by using this standard advanced key. As you can see, the hood mechanism's acrobatics deliver an intricate piece of street theatre, the hood compartment cover moving fluidly on two 7-link hinges. When closed, the top integrates neatly into the design line, stretching low above the body and extending to the rear in two long, slender fins. Otherwise, the design of this Spyder model is familiar from its coupe counterpart. So, as with that body style, horizontal lines define the front end with its huge sculptural single-frame radiator grille. As we told you in our background section, Audi took the opportunity in 2018 to introduce a package of updates to this second-generation R8, the visual changes made being extremely subtle. The single-frame radiator grille has a wider, flatter line. Thick bars divide up the large air inlets, and flat slits in the hood are reminiscent of the Audi R8 Quattro brand icon. Plus, the smarter front splitter is wider, underscoring the focused look. Inside, you're introduced to what the Ingolstadt brand calls a luxury-level racing atmosphere, and an interior that remains an object lesson in how to package a two-seat sports car. As before, one of the cockpit's key distinguishing features is what the stylists call the monoposto, a stylised large arc that encircles the driver's area of the cockpit, starting in the door and ending at the centre tunnel. But if that's familiar, you'll also find plenty that's different if you've yet to experience this post-2015 era second-generation Type 4S model. The changes beginning with the grippy, flat-bottomed R8 performance steering wheel. Extra round satellite buttons have been added to control engine startup and driving dynamics. Plus, there are these two further smaller round controls, a dial on the left to set the car up for different weather conditions, and a button on the right to alter the exhaust note. As for all the infotainment functionality, well, that's all been located in the Audi Virtual Cockpit, a 12.3-inch high-resolution instrument binnacle display screen that presents all necessary information in richly detailed, high-resolution 3D graphics. And beyond that, well, were we to be graduating into this car from a 911 cabriolet, we'd miss the little rear seats that Porsche give you there. So useful for chucking a jacket or a designer shopping bag onto. The lack of storage space behind the seats is quite significant because the room you actually get in the boot is extremely restricted. At 112 litres in size, the same as in an R8 coupe, this trunk offers less than half the amount of luggage space you'd get in, say, a rival Mercedes AMG GTC Roadster. To be fair, the boot beneath the bonnet of a rival 911 Turbo Cabriolet is about the same size. The improvements to this Mark II model haven't fundamentally affected this car's appeal, but they're welcome nonetheless, further smartening the already jaw-dropping looks. Do you really need more than this in a lottery-winning convertible supercar? You'd have to wonder.